Hey, maybe we need some suspension.
We call this meeting to order, please.
Here?
This is the regular meeting for the Livingston Parish Council, August 10th, 2017. Ms. Sandy, would you call the roll, please?
We're all here.
Mr. Ledell.
Here.
Mr. Averett.
Here.
Mr. Mack.
Here.
Mr. Ard.
Here.
Mr. Wascom.
Here.
Mr. Garlinghouse.
Here.
Mr. King.
Here.
Mr. Harris.
Here.
Mr. Talbert.
Here.
All present.
Would please stand? Tonight we're on honor of Mr. Johnny Bell, who recently passed away. He was an artist and a great community member. And so we're bringing his pastor of his church, Pastor Lee Olstein, from Lockhart Baptist Church. Would you, Mr. Olstein, would you please come forward and give the invocation?
First of all, I want to thank y'all for all that you've done in our community, especially since last year through the flood. And your leadership has helped our community and our parish survive. And I want to tell you right now, I think all of us should do this almost a year to this date, within a couple of days. I want to thank you personally. Johnny Bell, I had the privilege of being his pastor for 19 years, and I'm very honored to be able to come here today to pray over this. Father, I want to thank you for the day, the opportunity to be able to do business in our community. I thank you for these folks being prepared and ready to handle that. Give them wisdom beyond themselves so they can take care of the business of this parish, to help us and to guide us as people. They're our representatives, and they stand in our place, and we're very grateful for that. And Lord, I pray for our parish right now too. Even today, we had a lot more rain come through, and it seems like this last year, you've literally given us the showers of blessings. But yet, Lord, a lot of folks are still struggling. We pray you'll be on them and help them and guide them, and help our parish representatives to encourage folks to get out there and get that help they need. Help us as community leaders to do the same thing. Lord, we've got a lot of folks who've been harmed and hurt, but we know we've seen a lot of healing too, a lot of hope involved. And I pray tonight that this will be a time of hope, remembering our friend Johnny Bell and giving you the glory for his life. Lord, 19 years ago, I got to meet that man, and he knew you as his Lord and Savior. I asked him very directly. He says, if it wasn't for Jesus Christ, I'd be in hell today. He says, I'm so glad I've been born again. And I thank you for our godly parish and folks who try to do the right thing. Meet the needs here tonight, and again, give wisdom to these folks. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen. Mr. Mack, would you lead us in the pledge?
Sir. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'd like to remind everyone to please turn off or mute your cell phones. And this is a public meeting, so anyone from the public or in the audience has any input or anything to say about any of the agenda items, just please raise your hand. I'll recognize you. Could come forward, give your name, and we'll hear what you have to say. Item 7 is the presentations. Mr. Ard.
Yes, as y'all can see, we got some paintings on display over here, Mr. Johnny Bell's. I kind of did a little research on him, and when you know someone, it's hard.
You told me to kick him if you got to.
Johnny Bell was a local artist, Livingston Parish. By age 6, he was a student of the arts, taking lessons from his mentor and father, Johnny O. Bell. He mastered the techniques that his father taught him so well that his work was often mistaken for his father's. The similarities in their styles and techniques extended to their dream of creating a single all work on canvas to represent the state of Louisiana. It took 23 years from the time they began collaborating on the painting until it was named the official state painting. The painting, named Louisiana, won the hearts and votes of the state senators and representatives. After passing through both the Senate and the House, Governor Edwin Edwards supported the choice for the first official state painting in America by signing Act 981 on June 29, 1995. There was an article in the Denham Springs newspaper, July 6, 1995, that tells the story of the Bells and their quest of having their painting named the state painting. We have a copy of it over there, and it was written by Mr. Johnny's favorite reporter, Miss Mary Kissel. In 1997, Governor Mike Foster appointed Johnny F. Bell as the Louisiana laureate, a title held until Governor Bobby Jindal appointed George Rodriguez in 2009. Rodriguez is the creator of the Blue Dog painting. In 2007, Johnny Bell created another well-known painting, Forever Mike. The painting is of Mike the Tiger surrounded by symbols and monuments portraying LSU's rich history. Incorporated throughout the design and hidden in plain view are traditional elements representing all things LSU. For over 40 years, Johnny F. Bell has painted his art work across the U.S. in homes and commercial buildings. He did work for NASA in Stings, Mississippi, Keesler Air Force Base in Biloxi, Mississippi, Air Products in Convent, Louisiana, and numerous restaurants. Las Palmas, 8 locations, Casa Maria, 5 locations, Los Sombreros, 3 locations. I think you really just like Mexican food. and Abashi, 6 locations. He also designed our parish logo that we all had. So because of his artistic achievements, I would like to make a motion to adopt a resolution to establish the Johnny F. Bell Artistic Achievement Award.
I second that motion.
Motion by Mr. Ard, second by Mr. Wascom. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
He also did Lashish in Denham Springs, too.
Yes.
You know, you see all these places a lot. It's in Denham.
Okay. That's a good picture for her. Y'all don't mind. Walk around. I like this one especially. This is my LSU room.
It's an honor to present this recognition to Mr. Johnny Bell. To bestow an honor and credit in the highest respect the life he led and the achievements that he made through his artistic talent, gifts, and abilities to the parish of Livingston, the state of Louisiana, and throughout the United States. Whereas be hereby known that Johnny F. Bell Artistic Achievement Award be established for the recognition and merits of the individuals in Livingston Parish whose artistic gifts, talents, and character and ambition be warranted and worthy of acknowledgement by the Livingston Parish Council, governing authority of the parish of Livingston, state of Louisiana.
That's a wonderful thing. Thank you. Y'all stand by. We'll stand by the other side just so you can take a picture. Stand by the official state name.
I want to get a picture with the council with them.
Sure.
Take this one in the middle right here.
Scary, you can't see over the ladies.
Scooter, you need to get up in the front.
No, I'm on my tiptoes. Get off your knees, Scooter. Hey,
Standing straight up and down, son.
I hear that a lot. Dang it.
Nobody counts 3.
You don't ever know where to look at anymore.
Thank y'all so much.
Thank y'all. Thank you very much. Thank y'all.
She might be so he can say.
The whole cup. You're
Trying to get off of them, huh?
That was her. I got plenty. Miss Joyce did.
Son, you got crack on the kisses. What you doing?
Felt bad about it.
Mr. Wasson?
Thank you. I want to take just a second to give thanks where thanks is due. Sometimes you may not like the person so much, but they work hard, you have to give them honor. But when Denham Springs was flooded, our police department and our marshal's office really struggled with getting radios. Well, in the parish, we have a little yellow, white stuff. Mr. Mark Harrell from Homeland Security worked hard and give the marshal's office 7 radios. And I just got a phone call from Joe Shoemate who said, thank you very much. He couldn't make it tonight, but he wanted to say thanks for giving the marshal's office 7 expensive, very nice radios. Thank you.
What is your radio, son? That's what you Thank you, Mark. We appreciate that.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Item 8, adoption of the minutes from the July 27th, 2017 regular meeting of the council. This is standard adopting the minutes.
I'll make it.
Motion by Mr. Talbert,
Second?
second by Mr. Mack. Thank you.
You can't see my hand because it's.
I'm sorry.
I'm getting better at this.
Any discussion from the audience? Any further discussion from the council? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Stay awake over there.
Item 9, adopt resolution granting approval to Fire Protection District Number 8 to call and hold an election on November 18th, 2017 to authorize the renewal of the 16.63 mills tax for a period of 10 years. Mr. Ryan.
That's it, Mr. Chairman. It's just a renewal for Fire District Number 8, be on the November ballot.
This is an absolute necessity, in my opinion.
Absolutely, and people need to make sure and go vote for that. Keep it in there.
Yeah, and
Before that-
it is not a new tax. It is a renewal of an existing tax that everyone's already paying.
Was that a motion?
Yes, motion.
Motion by
Yes.
Mr. King, second by Mr. We'll go with Mr. Lopez. Any discussion from the audience? Well, I'll let you do this. I'll let you say the pledge.
You're right.
Any further discussion from the council? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Item 10. I'm going to read this one, Mr.
Again,
Ryan. Go ahead.
it's a resolution granting approval for Fire District Number 9 to renew their 10.38 mil tax for another 10 years on the November ballot. Same exact thing, just different fire district.
Good. I need a motion. Motion by Mr. Ard, second by Mr. Lopez. Any discussion from the audience? Any further discussion from the council? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? That's it. You have anything?
I just wanted to toot my own horn for 1 moment, because if you don't toot your own horn, sometimes your horn does not get tooted.
That's real true around here.
As you know, we've done these elections for y'all gratis at no charge for many, many, many years. And one of the reasons that you have one person that
15 years ago, you had a bunch of people doing them, and some people were charging and some people weren't. Well, I'm Dodd, and Sandy can attest to this probably more than anybody. One of the reasons you do that is because it makes a lot more sense to put both these on the same ballot. If one of these was going on one ballot, one of these was going on the other. If you can get them both or multiple things on the same ballot, your ballot costs go dramatically down because you can pay thousands and thousands of dollars if you're the only thing on the agenda. And again, I'm not trying to toot my horn too much, just pointing out that it's good to have someone to coordinate all the elections in the parish.
And the more things that are on there, the more people might show up and go vote.
We certainly appreciate
I can say this.
Jim Ryan. We certainly do appreciate it.
Mr. Ryan, you actually did work when I was at the city of Walker. You did work for us there, and it was excellent.
And John had to put up with me in Denham Springs for years.
Did a great job.
And Frog had to put up with me at the rec districts.
Thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Item 11 is the parish president report.
I'd like to toot Jim Ryan's horn.
I heard you would.
He's going for the shrimp.
I think the assessor has contacted all you all regarding this. All you're doing tonight is allowing us to tell him to go ahead and move forward with any plans, and for Fairburn to be his architect, which he's paying. This isn't costing the parish any money. Once the agreements are done, if you vote to approve this tonight, all that will come before you all to vote on it. Anything that we sign, any cooperative endeavor agreements, plans, everything will come before you all. Hopefully at the next meeting, it may be a meeting or so after that, but all that will come before you all to approve. Now, all you're doing tonight is acknowledging that he's doing it, telling him, yeah, go ahead and move forward on it.
So, and what's that on?
That's on item B.
Let's not make a big issue out of it.
So you want to do item A first?
It's all one, it's really just one item. I don't know why we wrote it out in three different. Jeff?
Oh, so it's just one thing?
It's really just one thing.
Okay.
He just wants permission to know that he can go ahead and tell Fairburn to move forward, which they've already started on the plans. And then Chris Moody is now working on the cooperative endeavor agreement language, which again, all that will have to come before you all. But he didn't want to move forward at all if y'all were going to have any issue with this, but certainly we don't. We're going to inherit a building that he's paying for.
Right.
So, and maintain it.
That'd be fine. We'll go ahead. We'll go ahead. I don't think it'll be an issue. We'll go ahead and do it by item. That way it'll be done. So.
Okay.
Item A is approved request from the Livingston Parish Assessor's Office to construct a new office building in approximately 2.5 acres on the Parish Council property fronting Frost Road. Any
I'll make that motion.
motion by Mr. Ard?
Second.
Second by Mr. Averett. Any discussion from the audience? Any discussion from council? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item B, approval to enter into a cooperative endeavor agreement with the Livingston Parish Assessor's Office. Motion by Mr. Harris, second by Mr. Averett. Any discussion from the council? Any discussion from the audience? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item C, approve the selection of Alburn Farrer and Associates as the engineer architect on the construction property.
I just want to make note that that is for the assessor, per the assessor, not the parish.
Yeah.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Mack, second by Mr. Harris. Any discussion from the audience? Any further discussion from the council? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? You got anything else?
That's all.
President?
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Item 12, Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness. My good friend, Mark Harrell.
Well, that's better. I appreciate that.
I like the way you do that, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm here tonight asking for a resolution allowing us to add Sims Road and Hammock Road to the MPO. Not saying that you're going to have funding anytime soon. You never know. But this is a process. It's mandatory. We have a resolution by the council to put it in the system.
Okay, so
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Now, Mark, have those roads been approved to be on the MPO already, or they've already been approved?
This is just a mandatory technicality.
And then it's gonna be, what are they evaluated over the next 5 years?
Or 20.
Or are they on there indefinitely till they're approved?
They're on there.
Okay.
And I think that Fort Blott is working on moving forward to some of it now.
Okay.
But there's no guarantee. Pardon?
What part of Hammock?
Hammock.
All up the whole road.
Okay, so,
It's a connector road between some state roads. It falls in the criteria, and
We just done Hammock.
so is this item A, or did you
yes, sir.
Yeah, that was a,
adopt a resolution in support of submittal of roadway improvements and commitment of local matching funds? About the capital region, okay. Motion by Mr. Talbot,
second.
Second.
second by Mr. King. Any discussion from the audience? Any further discussion from the council? Sandy, would you call the vote?
Mr. Lovell?
Yes.
Mr. Avery?
Yes.
Mr. Mack?
Yes.
Mr. Ard?
Yes.
Mr. Wascom?
Yes.
Mr. Girlinghouse?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Harris? And Mr. Talbot?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
may I ask to have something moved up? We had to do an addendum.
Oh, you mean the addendum item?
Yes, sir. You told me to remind you, and I knew I needed to.
Yeah, no, we'll move you up, that's fine. That would be item A1, resolution accepting the work at the Livingston Parish Emergency Response Communication Tower as substantially complete and authorizing the parish president to sign the certificate of substantial completion based on the recommendation of the engineer for the Gustav Pike Disaster Recovery Program, Livingston Parish Emergency Response Communication Tower.
Yes, sir.
All right, do I have a motion?
I make that motion. Second.
Motion by Mr. King, second by Mr. Wascom. Any discussion from the audience? Any further discussion from the council? Ms. Sandy, would you call the vote?
Mr. Lovell?
Yes.
Mr. Avery?
Yes.
Mr. Mack?
Yes.
Mr. Ard?
Yes.
Mr. Wascom?
Yes.
Mr. Girlinghouse?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Talbot?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Can I say
Thank you.
something, Trish?
Certainly, why not?
Uh-oh.
Can I take this opportunity to ask Mr. Mark Harold, one of the things I'm extremely excited about, and heard about some of the federal grant money to clean out some of the debris from Tickfall and some of the other waterways, the Tallbenny River, and I think, is Coyell Creek on that list?
West.
West.
West Coyell Creek?
Yes, sir. We
Can you give us a little
submitted,
report on that?
we submitted for 7 waterways.
Okay, so,
We asked for Tickfall River from the state park to the St. Helena line. That was approved. We asked for Natal-Benny from 22 all the way up to where Little Natal-Benny turns left, and all the way up Little Natal-Benny past Albany. Unfortunately, they denied a lot of that. We're only going to get from 22 up to the interstate on Natal-Benny. We asked for King George, they denied it. Several other ones, we asked for the Coyell to start at Buddy Ellis and go all the way down to the bay. And they're giving us that. It's gonna be starting at Buddy Ellis and go to Hood, and then from Hood down to, I think it's East Coyell, where it connects. That's where they stopped us.
So they approved from West Coyell, from Buddy Ellis all the way
Way
to
down to where it meets the next Coyell.
Middle, yeah.
Excellent.
And it ended up being $350-something million, or $3-point-something million, and
About to say.
they kicked it out. We asked for $8 million. We got a little over $3 million, and we're still negotiating with them on the rest. Natal-Benny, just so you know, for some reason, they forgot it. That's their story, and they're sticking to it. And they're saying it's too late to add. I'd like to say that Paul Sawyer, Congressman Graves, is working on that issue now, seeing if we can come back and add it. We've talked about how it flooded Albany, and it's really a necessity, so it's in their hands. Let's see what they can do with it.
well, I'm just trying to educate myself on this. When could we start that type of work? And I mean, are we good to go?
The contract came in today from NRCS. We're looking at it. I'm hesitant on getting it signed, hoping that Congressman Graves can have the other ones added.
Okay.
And then we've already started the permitting process. We're getting some response in now. The next step is getting a permit from Wildlife and Fisheries, because they control the scenic waterway of the Tickfall River. So that's going to be a little bit slow, but all in all, I'm saying November, December. We hope to have everything permitted and move forward. Just so you know, it's not 100% grant. So our match is 10% of it. So they stuck with the FEMA 90-10. So we're gonna have to match 10%. So just keep that in mind.
Yes.
And I hate to put you on the spot, Mark, and I should have pre-asked you this question, but for the sake
I'll
of...
make up something.
Thank you, and you do pretty good at it. But for the sake of everybody watching TV tonight who happens to be in the Denham Springs area, can you tell us about the bridge on River Road, or just outside the city limits of Denham? I mean, just to
I
give
am
us...
trying to get an update from the federal system. You know, to save the parish money, we went to the federal system. It's in it, and they have agreed to pay for it. And the engineering has been done. We had to revise it, and we're going back with box culverts. And our engineer has submitted it to DOTD. DOTD submits it to the Federal Highway System, and then they come back and they authorize DOTD to move forward. We're out of it. They do the bid, they do everything, and right now, tonight, I can't tell you where we stand. I will do my best to get you an update. Mr. Layton called me today. He called me yesterday. He called me the day before, and the day before, and the day before. Saturdays and Sundays mean nothing.
I know. I just get
But
phone
we
calls
just
about
can't,
it.
we can't get,
If I don't call and ask him, I don't know.
but, look, everybody's frustrated with it. I know that. I am too. But when you're asking the federal government for money, you have to go by their timelines. Unless you want to fund it. And I'm sure we could do it soon.
Yeah. Do you have, is there a cost estimate that we've already got set?
My understanding, they're gonna cover 100%.
But going to box culvert significantly lower the price.
Cool. Yes, sir. And never have to worry about it again, or shouldn't.
Other than the fact that when it gets stopped up, you gotta have a confined space permit to go clean it up.
It's not gonna get stopped up. Be positive.
It's because nothing flows through
Everybody
there.
wants to be negative. Be positive.
That wouldn't be a problem, you just let some change.
I feel positive on it.
Then install it, pull it through there whenever it gets stopped up, you through.
Burn it out.
Yeah.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
You know you can't burn storm.
Thought you told me I couldn't do that.
I didn't say that.
Just tree limb, let it start.
Thank you, Mr. Harrell.
All right, thank y'all so much.
Thank you, Mark.
All right, we're going to move to,
Tracy.
what?
13.
Oh, that's the same, it's the same.
Did
I'm
we
sorry,
just
we're going to move
finish
to
this?
item 14.
13.
No, 14. We'll come back to 13. Planning Commission recommendation, Mr. Sam.
Oh, you want to let Sam get out of here? I see
Yeah.
how you are. He gets calls on Saturdays and Sundays, a lot of time on Friday, and he goes, do you know it's Friday? And I'm like, nah, I never pay any attention.
I'm moving him up, but when I call, he answers.
He does for me too. He even goes out and
He's
works on
telling you a
Saturday.
story.
This week he goes out, I had a problem. He went out on a Saturday morning. I didn't ask him to. I just sent him, identified the problem. By 10:15, he's calling me back going, I already went and took care of it. They're gonna make sure things are done. It's gonna drain. That's Sam DeGraw.
Can you give me a written documentation of that?
Yes, sir.
I'll pay you after the meeting. Okay, guys, first on the agenda is Derek and Erica Abney. That's been canceled. So we'll move on to the next. Next one will be Mr. Richard Thompson. Mr. Richard Thompson has a servitude revocation. It's a recommendation of the Livingston Parish Planning Commission to approve the servitude revocation for Mr. Richard Thompson, and that's in Mr. Butler Harris's district.
And I've been
Mr.
out
Butler's very
and
aware of it.
I've talked to the man himself, and what he's wanting to do is a great deal, really, if he can get this thing revoked.
I need a motion for the introduction of the ordinance. Motion by Mr. Harris. Second by Mr. Ard. Sandy,
You tell him, sir.
you have to read by title?
This will be proposed ordinance 17-29. It's an ordinance revoking a certain 5-foot utility servitude located in section 39 T7S R3E, Greensburg Zoning District, Livingston Parish, Louisiana, in favor of the landowner being more particularly described herein. The public hearing will be at 6 p.m. on August the 24th.
Any discussion from the audience?
See, can you see?
Any further discussion from the council? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Item C.
Next on the agenda is a commercial development, Covington Sales, preliminary site plan. I think this is in Mr. John Wascom's district. It's a recommendation of the Livingston Parish Planning Commission to approve the preliminary site plan for Covington Sales. The building's existing there, they're just adding on to it. I think they, like everybody else, they got growing pains, so they need to expand.
Well, it's nice to have growing pains.
They do a lot for District 4. I know Mr. Jim and Chris and his lovely wife Kim, so I'll make that motion.
And I second it.
Motion by Mr. Wascom, second by Mr. King. Any discussion from the audience? Any further discussion from the council? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item D.
Subdivision with improvements, South Creek subdivision. This is also in Mr. Bob Harris's district off of Wax Road. It's a recommendation of the Livingston Parish Planning Commission to approve the revised preliminary plat for South Creek subdivision contingent on receiving the street name approval. And as of today, it has not been approved. The street name, they turned in a name and they couldn't use it because the name had already been used. But it's approved by the Planning Commission contingent on the street gets named, and that's just the format that we've got to go through.
I'll offer that.
You said a motion? Motion by Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Sam, is this the first filing?
Yes.
There's 103 lots in here?
Are those 60
Quite a
feet
few.
lots?
Sir?
Yes, that's what it said, wasn't it, dear?
I can't read these.
Yeah,
39 acres, 103 lots.
right.
So, is track F a pond, track C a pond?
We've got 2 ponds in there.
I think,
Where are you looking at? I don't see no peak. Where is it?
Track.
That's a pond all the way around.
let's see, I think our engineer's here tonight, isn't he? There he is. Mr. Jeff, you want to
This is
kind of speak a little on this?
not a regular.
There's a the pond wraps all the way around the south and to the east side of it.
So the only expansion would be out that Red Bud Avenue, as y'all got it on the paper, which isn't necessarily the name, because we don't do trees anymore, and so,
We have a name, we just haven't approved yet.
I got you.
And these are 60-foot lots?
Yes, sir.
I can't read my,
Yes.
some of them are a little wider because they're in the corners
Yeah,
and things.
right.
Okay.
I know.
Anything else? I had a motion by Mr. Harris.
Oh, I'll second.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Second by Mr. King. Any discussion from the audience? Anything else from the council? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed?
This is Gary.
Item E.
Next on your agenda is A1 Rental Center, preliminary site plan. This is in Mr. Gary Talbot's district. It's a recommendation of the Livingston Parish Planning Commission to approve the preliminary site plan for A1 Retail Center.
Same.
Yes,
Number 16.
That's right there off of her side.
that's right.
In
Right
front of
Yeah, I saw
the lift station or whatever that.
Yes, sir.
Okay. That borders up to that creek, but there's no stormwater detention in the preliminary at all.
Well, Gravity Drainage has requested, Gravity Drainage 2 has requested that, no fence is put up alongside that canal so they can make sure they maintain it properly.
Okay, but we still gotta do a drainage impact on it,
We're
right?
gonna do a drainage impact study on it. Fort LeBlanc is gonna handle that part.
Yeah, because that canal goes behind my in-laws in Versailles, and they already have flood
Well,
problems on that creek.
That's just, that's just the issue, that whole
It
area
is.
through there, so I just wanna be sure.
We got to study that extra hard.
And like I say, Gravity Drainage 2 is already
I'm
involved in
flooding in
it.
that.
They're gonna, Pay close attention.
All right.
Local Fort Lauderdale, their engineer, I think that's Owens and Water.
I'll make a motion.
Yeah, so,
Motion by Mr. Talbot. Second by Mr. King. Any discussion from the audience? Any further discussion from the council? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Item F.
hey, this is you.
Next on your agenda is a subdivision with improvements. This is Camden Oaks subdivision. This is in Mr. Tracy Girlinghouse's district. It is a recommendation of the Livingston Parish Planning Commission to approve the preliminary plat for Camden Oaks subdivision.
Well, this looks like some pretty nice lot.
I would make a motion, but I cannot, so.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. Motion by Mr. Avery.
Second.
Second by Mr. Mack. Any discussion from the,
Tracy, where's that at over there?
somebody, Camden Oaks?
Yeah, well, I don't know where Carpenter is, I was just wondering.
Is that north of the dam or south of the dam?
I'll be damned.
I think it's south.
Okay.
The dam, nice. That is what it is. Any discussion from the audience? Any further discussion from the council? All in favor say aye. All opposed?
Preliminary stuff anyhow, this is just to get them rolling.
All right, we're going to go to the addendum for you, Mr. Sam. Is that right? No, we can go to 15, I'm sorry. We'll go to 15 first. Adopt resolution to name an unnamed private road off of Courtney Road, Lodney and Mary Road. And that's for the Higginbottom, correct?
Yes, sir. That's in Mr. Tracy's district. Ms. Hickenbottom came by the office and asked us to contact Mr. Tracy for her so they could get a 911 sign put up and make note of Mary and Mr. Lobby. We checked it through the permit office. I believe Miss Sandy did that to make sure that there wasn't a name, already signed.
So they don't have a red sign up now, they just need one.
We're gonna get one,
Okay.
providing you guys support.
I just wanted to make sure that it was Mary Lane, not Mary Road. I think I heard you say road. I just want to make sure with no discrepancy there.
Road.
It does say road.
Well, I was looking at the building department thing and it said Lane.
I think that's a typo. I think it's supposed to be Mary Lane.
Oh, okay.
That's what she had requested, right, Miss Sandy?
I'm looking at the.
Yeah, and on the petition and all, it says Lane, so that's what we're gonna go with. We'll go with Lane, right?
Yeah, I think when the agenda was made, it was road.
Just telling y'all got it.
Lane,
What y'all
it's on
want.
the petition.
Gotcha. Lane.
It's also in the
Lane.
letter.
So adopt the resolution to name an unnamed road off of Courtney, Lodney and Mary Lane.
All right.
And you give me a motion? Motion by Mr. Mack, second by Mr. Ard. Any discussion from the audience? Anything further from the council? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? All right, now we can go to addendum item 2, yes, 2. Authorization to advertise for bids for the Department of Public Works to obtain a new combination unit with chassis. Mr. Sam.
As you guys realize, I would say probably better than 80% of our subdivisions that come through you, that's approved, are subsurface. They're 15 and more lots, and anytime it's 15 and more lots, it's all closed-in systems. We have absolutely nothing to clean those closed-in systems with. It takes a back truck, something that can pull it out, and it also can push it out. We would like to go out for bid, if you see that, so we can see what's out there.
Absolutely.
It's just, after the flood,
I need it.
some of these closed-in systems has silted in, and these folks are hurting because we don't have anything to clean them out with. And,
We got subsurface drainage subdivisions out there in Albany too, and they got stopped up.
absolutely,
We need
they're
that.
all over the parish. Anytime it's 15 or more,
And you'll keep it working. I'm sure you get one, it's gonna be busy.
I hope so.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Myers called me today. There's revenue in Sam's budget to do it. It's actually not allocated as capital improvement right now, but that can be done easily with the budget amendment, but the revenue there exists in his budget to make the purchase. Which the estimate's like, what, 350, 400,000?
Well, it's gonna be 300 plus, Gary. I don't wanna
Yeah.
tell you that because
I mean, I understand, but I mean, we got an idea.
it's a very expensive piece of equipment.
It's a Vector, is what, I mean, that's one type that we're looking at.
And you looking at new as opposed to buying
Well,
something,
we're gonna spec it out accordingly.
that's what you
And
need.
let the, yeah.
Okay,
We don't want somebody else's problems.
right, that's right,
You know, if possible, get something new.
absolutely.
We don't
Oh,
want
absolutely.
anybody else's problem, so.
Well, we're gonna look at the best out there for the buck.
I'll make a motion for that.
Thank you, Mr. King. Motion by
We
Mr.
need
King,
this.
second by Mr. Avery. Any discussion from the audience? Anything further from the council? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed?
We build a new subdivision curb and gutter every week, so we need.
Thank you,
Is
guys.
that it, Mr. Sam? Thank you.
useful piece of equipment.
Absolutely.
Go back to item 13.
Oh, look at here, you got,
Oh, we're back for
yeah.
We're now in our public hearing. Right? An adoption for LP ordinance, LP number 17-28.
We're gonna table this indefinitely. Only because if, I talked to y'all about this when we introduced it, that we were looking at doing it in permitting. There's some issues related to doing it in the permitting stage. One being that if an architect signs off on a set of plans, then the national code applies, it'll supersede local ordinance. So consequently, that if you do it in permitting and then you have an architect sign off on it, then the national deal will supersede that. Plus, there's been some issues with respect to, like I told y'all before, developers are concerned that they've got something that's in the pipeline they've been working on for so long, and they've got, they picked out what houses go on what lots, and if we come and change it at the permitting office, then tons of stuff that they've been working on. So we're looking at, and we're not ready to introduce it. We're probably gonna go back and adjust the setbacks, and basically, if a lot's like 65 foot or smaller, there'll be a 6 foot setback, which will basically get you close to 10 foot between the houses on a 16 or 17 inch overhang, and then something 66 and above will a 7 foot setback. But even though the intent of what we're gonna do is the same, there's so much of the deal that changes that we don't feel that it would be, that we could amend this ordinance as it's been introduced and meet the letter of the law. So we're gonna table it. We'll be back for introduction in 2 weeks.
All right.
But you
It
say-
is so tabled.
Wait,
But
Just because you say "we," is that
us.
the ordinance? committee?
Ordinance, look at it.
Well,
Okay,
Well,
I just
I mean-
didn't know, 'cause I just didn't know if that was.
If we got time to tonight, we can talk about it.
That's
But
okay. Yeah,
No.
Is that item you're talking about 16, was you talking about, Gary?
no, that's item 13.
Okay, okay.
13.
We were introducing a thing to change the setbacks so that we could include eaves and overhangs.
Okay, I'm familiar.
But we realized that in doing that, we can actually be overridden by an architect's signature, so it doesn't accomplish what we want to accomplish.
Gotcha. I understand. I was,
it's just important to get enough space in between those houses, you know.
So we want to be sure we do it in the way.
Get it where it's what we said they gotta do.
All right, so tabled. Item 16, request for waivers intended for the allowance of permitting due to the restrictions of Livingston Parish Ordinance Number 17-22, Section 13-46.1, prohibitions and restrictions of use for mobile manufactured homes be placed in a named subdivision for the intent of on-site custom-built single-family homes. And we have 2 waivers. As I think they're both in
Magnolia.
They're both in Magnolia subdivision, which we've already granted waivers. Didn't we say once we granted some in a subdivision, they didn't even have to do that ever again?
We did, but we never did change the ordinance and actually add the list, and maybe we need to do that.
We need to do
Extremely
something.
soon.
Because this is 2
Right.
for one guy
Right.
in a trailer subdivision.
Yeah.
It might be 3 houses, maybe 4 out of
We can-
400.
Right.
Okay.
And how long has this guy been waiting on that?
At least 2 weeks.
That's what we're saying, we need to do something.
It needs to change.
Yes.
Anyhow, I make a motion to grant the waiver on this.
All right, so
Second.
motion by Mr. King, second by Mr. Mack. Just to read into it, it is waiver for Benjamin Savell,
Yeah, both of them for the same person.
Magnolia Subdivision, 8201 Suzie Circle E, Dennis Springs, and 8207 Suzie Circle E, Denham Springs. Motion by Mr. King, second by Mr. Mack. Any discussion from the audience? Any further discussion from the council? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Good. Item 17, adopt a resolution to add Sims Road for consideration to the priority road list. Mr. Talbert.
And I didn't realize it was actually getting put on the MPO at the time when it was put on the agenda. However, there is nothing wrong with the ride down Sims Road. It's just that we have no shoulders. We have the ditches right against the road. It's narrow. And so it's something that we need to address. It was built with, in the Depression with, what was that, WPA money or whatever?
Yeah.
And so, you know, when Model Ts weren't there, or whatever, was that what they had back then, Mark?
Yeah, Mark, you,
Horse and buggy.
Horse and buggy.
that was during Bubba's age.
But anyway, it's,
That's right.
it's a connector road that's well-traveled, and the sheriff knows that there's speeding issues on it, and there's all kind of stuff on it that needs to be addressed. And actually, I've got two items on here. One's to put it on, and one's to ask the parish engineer to every time there's a development, commercial or residential, that a traffic impact study be done, so that if people are gonna continue to develop it, we can utilize some of their.
One item at a time, Mr.
Okay, I'm
Talbot,
sorry.
please. So you made the motion for 17?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Let me add something. It's 1920s when it's slated to do something on Sims Road, and it's going to have some drainage work done, so we can widen it a little bit, and then start in there after.
Well, let me ask you a question, Mark. If somebody comes and wants to put a subdivision on, and we determine based on the traffic impact study that it needs turn lane, and we make them upgrade that particular section, that doesn't affect our ability to be on the MPO list and have money.
But it, make sure the engineer, they're not doing something that's going to hinder the project 1920.
I got you. But I mean, because we're in a situation that
Do you mean 2020?
yeah, 2020.
Yeah.
He was talking about when he was born.
Talking about them old Model Ts, you threw him off.
Me and Mr. Bubba rode down that road with my grandpa.
I think Bubba pulled in a little wagon.
But you know, I mean, to be honest with you, we get subdivisions put there, and because of the road it is, we don't address it, but we create more traffic, and so consequently it becomes, every time we let another house get built on it, we're making it a more dangerous situation for the people that already have to travel it, and any future development. So I mean, that was the reason for wanting to do this, because, you know, trying to address that. So I guess we're just gonna have to look at the evaluation and figure out, you know, what the MPO is gonna do. But theoretically, before they can do anything, it's gotta be widened, and right away it's gotta be acquired to move the ditches. That's the issue. The road surface is fine. There's no shoulder, and there's no place to put the shoulder.
And all that should be in that program.
Okay.
There was a plan, what it was talked about several years ago. Right. Yeah, it's not an overnight thing.
No, I understand, but if we continue on this course, you know, that we're on now, if somebody wants to put a subdivision and we can improve a section of it, it still benefits the parish without affecting our MPO situation.
Right. If they look at it on the overall plan.
All right, so, motion? Motion.
Second that.
Motion by Ms. Talbot, second by Mr. King. Any discussion from the audience? Any further discussion from the council? John? All right, good. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed?
You can't do it now. He wasn't.
Item 18. All right, go ahead, Jerry.
I guess I got ahead of myself, we discussed it. This is just a resolution to authorize the parish engineer to review every commercial and residential development in the future that exists on Sims Road.
I got a question about that.
And then, you know, I don't know that, I mean, we can ask for review at that point in time if the traffic increases, or you determine that's a hazard, you can then require the developer or anybody commercial to put in turn lanes, slow down lanes, widen the road during that section, even if they don't have to put turn lanes. I assume, am I correct? We don't have to adjust the ordinance. You have the authority or the power to tell them, this is what you're gonna do before you build this development.
Yeah, just like a range impact study, traffic impact study will come up with some kind of solution or whatever it is for, you know, the traffic coming out of that subdivision.
so we can start getting improvements on the road. And if people want to continue to develop it, they need to participate in some of the improvements. And the only way we're going to get that done is identify roads that have a hazard, or pass an ordinance that says every parish road's got to have a traffic impact study. You know, which, I mean, there might be roads that don't need them because there's not a hazard. But if you got a hazard, we ought to identify it and then ask the engineer to address it. So that was my reason behind putting it on there, to just start kind of be preemptive in some of this stuff. If we have development in the future on that road, then we'll get some improvement on it. I'd like to make that motion.
All right, motion by Mr. Tower.
I just had a quick.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, Mr. Mack.
I just to help educate myself in that, I mean, wouldn't the parish review engineer already have to review the project without a resolution?
Yeah, but they don't
Make it
have,
special?
but
I'm just
they're
asking.
traffic. But we require by ordinance to ask them to do a drainage impact study.
Uh-huh.
We do not require by ordinance, am I correct, a traffic impact study?
Can you track traffic, you mean?
I mean, we require the drainage, but we don't require traffic.
Traffic is only, traffic can be required, if it's 15, certain lot size subdivision.
Yes, it's in there.
But commercial, it's not required.
Ha.
So in commercial developments, it's not required.
Multifamily, it is.
So basically what we're doing is every development on Sims Road in the future, we're asking them to do a traffic impact study.
On a commercial development, okay.
No, any development.
On anything, whether it meets the lot requirement or not. I mean, there's some numbers that trigger it in. If you go put something that doesn't trigger, we're still gonna ask them to do an impact study. Because Sims Road is unsafe at this point in time. So every additional car you put on it makes it that much worse. So,
And one more thing, just education-wise, how will the administration and the government and all that good stuff be able to keep up with that resolution's in place and that needs to be done? How would that work?
Commercial actually does have traffic impact study,
I thought it
question in there, so it's also included. So you have them for both of them.
So
Now I don't mind, I'll be with you, I'm just,
well, I mean, I think, because
how do
here,
they know to do that?
because everybody knows that at this point in time that's in this meeting is gonna be the person sitting at review when somebody brings it to you.
So what if we change parish review engineers?
Well, they'll have a book of guidelines.
But this is a resolution, it ain't in the guideline.
That's actually, yeah, it's a resolution asking. I'm not introducing an ordinance requirement. I'm asking a resolution that.
But if he's saying it's already, is it in there by ordinance or is it in there by just?
Yeah, it's in there.
It's in there by ordinance already.
But I think that not every project that would happen on Sims Road by ordinance is required to be reviewed at this point in time.
That's probably accurate. It depends on what size you have. Same thing with subdivision.
So all I'm doing is we're doing a resolution that covers every development that happens on
On
Sims
Sims
Road.
Road, okay.
Make your motion.
He did,
Motion by? I think we got a motion and a second.
you already did.
Who did the second?
Didn't get a second.
Second.
He second.
Second by Mr. Mack.
Wow.
Anything from the audience? Anything else from the council? You sure? All right, good. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Cool. Item 19. Mr.
Hey,
Drew.
Mr. Chairman, before we go on, I was gonna add a road to that priority overlay list.
We can do that at the next meeting.
Well, she was supposed to put it on there for this meeting. She said just add it in. We decided that we could, when we were discussing them, you can add some in. I mean, it's okay if you don't want to.
I don't want to.
Okay.
I want everybody a chance to look at it, and then, we're not gonna jam something.
We'll wait till then and I'll discuss it so
Well,
y'all have some headway.
Well, that's fine.
Okay.
Until I do this.
We'll do that. Golly, he's hard to do. I ain't buying next time.
I'm sorry.
19, nothing's your.
Nothing? Okay, thank you. Committee reports.
No.
Ordinance committee. Do you have anything to report?
I do.
Anything new to report?
I do.
Jeez.
We're currently working to maybe revise the minor subdivision ordinance. There's a lot of good discussion on that. I think it's a lot of positive changes being put forth. However, we had set a meeting up for Tuesday, and I cannot make that meeting.
Yay.
So it'll be quick, is what you're saying?
So I was thinking that maybe we just schedule the day of the meeting at another time. I don't know exactly what day I could get together right now, so.
So what you're saying is you're going to cancel that meeting, and the other meeting will be at a...
It'll be soon. It'll be
Okay.
soon. And if anybody has any
I'm good with that.
recommendations, and go read what we currently got. And if you have a good recommendation, we're open-minded and willing to discuss that and talk about it, to improve the ordinances that govern Livingston Parish.
I was wondering how
Thank you,
I was
Mr.
gonna get around all that.
Mack. Well said.
What you did?
Anything else? Finance Committee. Frog, you got anything to report?
Next Thursday after next, which is our next meeting, we'll have a meeting at 5:30. Mandatory Finance Committee meeting.
All right. Item 21, councilman comments.
Sir,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
if you don't mind, most everybody's gone now. But
That's the best time to say it.
I guess it is. I don't know. Sunday is the anniversary of the Great Flood. And
It started raining tomorrow, last year.
do I?
It started raining tomorrow a year ago, and it didn't stop for a
Yes,
long
right,
time.
right. But we had people that worked for the parish, the parish president, Mr. Mark Harrell, Mr. Sam DiGirolamo, and just a number of other people that was under them was working to keep this parish going. I just want to thank you.
Indeed.
That's from all of us.
Oh,
I appreciate
The
that.
sheriff's office.
Good job, Mr.
All
Harris.
these
You made it
guys
through.
did a fantastic job for repair.
Anything else?
Won't take but just one quick second, I promise.
All right, go ahead.
Dunn, golly,
No, go ahead.
Dunn Road is in my district, and it's on the MPO list, and it was slated to be funded for the end of 17 for engineering work and being done, overlaid and some safety things done on it in 18. Well, it was not funded through the governor's office. They, parishes, states in a financial shortfall, and that's why I would like to add it to the priority overlay list. When we can do it in 2 weeks. It's not like it's a pressing matter. I just wanted to let the people on Dunn Road know that it has been pushed back. It looks like it might be the end of 18 into 19 before they can actually. Have y'all heard on that?
It's 18, 19, I believe.
Yeah, so it looks like it's gonna be a year longer, but they still working on it. Mr. Mark Harrell and Fort Tablada, they know they working on trying to get it done some other way, but I'd like to have it graded because it's a heavily traveled connector road between two state highways.
So,
And thousands of houses there, and they're building new ones all the time.
so you tell me it was not funded because they didn't have the money?
Yes.
Or they didn't have enough percentage of Democratic votes in this parish?
I'm not gonna go there because I don't know that, but they ran short. There was things cut all over the whole state. It wasn't just Livingston Parish.
So
We did have quite a few here cut.
So you're going to add it to the next?
Yeah, I'd
Cool.
like to put it on the agenda for the next time,
All right.
to the priority
We can do that.
overlay list.
So is it not guaranteed in 2018, 2019? Just
No,
curious.
It's not guaranteed ever.
So they got to go, it's
Like
gotta
you
go
said,
back through the
could be-
legislators next
No,
year?
it's still on the list, I think, and it just moves up, doesn't it, pretty much?
Just move back one year.
I think
Yeah, just moved back 1 year because they didn't have enough to fund everything through capital outlay. Is that
Stays
where
on
it
the
comes?
list.
the line item veto got it, didn't it?
It did. It got cut. Whether it was for what you said or they didn't like me, maybe. Hey,
That's probably what
okay.
it was. I would have
I can bite that, but my people deserve better. Don't hold it against them. Oh, we got to talk.
So what you're saying, your people deserve better than you? Is that what you
Dangerous too,
said?
so that's okay. Anyhow, guys, that's all I had.
Okay. Mr. Taylor, I noticed you here. Do you have anything that you wanted to report?
Billy,
You good? You just hanging out back there? How about you, Mayor Clark? You got something you want to say? You good?
He ready to eat half of that thing.
All right. If not, I need a motion to adjourn. Motion by Mr.
Second.
Halper, second by Mr. Mack. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed.